All right, folks, welcome aboard. And before we get to our very special guest, I want you to see something. This exchange took place on Morning Joe. Joe Scarborough and Chuck Todd having it out. And I got to tell you, I'm with Joe Scarborough in this 100%. And if you watch the facial expressions of Chuck Todd during this, it's so inappropriate. In his role as White House correspondent for NBC News, it's just... I don't know what to tell you, but you know where Chuck Todd's heart lies and where his beliefs lie. There's no doubt about that. Watch.
This image, and I keep holding this image up that Nancy Gibbs pointed to, where Barack Obama has his arm around a man who is reaching out to pro-Taliban forces, talking about killing Americans. The justice. Who wants to wait me here? Who wants to wait me here?
Don't criticize the parents. Don't criticize the parents in here. I think that
I can criticize parents that have reached out to the Taliban. And
I'm sorry.
Oh my God,
that
Chuck.
are missing a child. Their son is missing for 5 years.
Okay, look, I cannot imagine what it must have been like, son missing for 5 years. However, the man that the president put his arm around in the Rose Garden, okay, allegedly, and it doesn't seem like it's in dispute, when his son wrote him an email saying, I hate America, I'm ashamed to be a soldier, I'm ashamed to be an American, I want to get out of here, I'm thinking of leaving, and for what would have been the third time as far as I know, what did his father write back? Follow your conscience. Follow your conscience. I'm sorry. That's a man the president, the commander-in-chief, hugs? I don't think so, and neither does Joe Scarborough.
I've got a 26-year-old son, and if my son is out on the wire and he is out there with fellow troops and he writes me up and says he hates America and he's thinking about deserting and he's thinking about leaving his post, I can tell you as a father of that 26-year-old or 23-year-old son, I'd say, Joey, you stay the hell right there. I would call his commander. I would say, get my son. He is not well. Get him to a military base in Germany. I would not say, follow your conscience, son. I would not reach out to the voice of jihad.
I'm not backseat driving
please.
how someone
No, that is not backseat driving.
Joe.
I am a father. Any good father would not tell their son to follow their conscience and leave men and women on the line. Yes. Yes, he is.
Is he a bad father? Asked Chuck Todd. And Joe Scarborough says, yes, yes, he is. His advice got his son held captive for 5 years. So he's a bad father advice giver. That's number one, right? I mean, come on, how does Chuck Todd stand there and defend? Don't go after the parents. Don't go after the father. The father who tweeted that every get-well prisoner has to be released? The father who told his son when he said, I'm going to leave my base, my post, and desert, follow your conscience? Don't attack the father? The father who stood there and gave a message from Allah to his son? Don't attack the father? Why not? Why is he sacrosanct? Why is he off limits? Kudos to Joe Scarborough. All right, we're welcoming in Johnny Spann, himself a father. And we're going to talk about he and his special son, but first we're going to watch this.
Just after the fall of the Taliban in 2001, a battle took place at this site in North Afghanistan called Kalajangi. An American, Johnny Micheal Spann, was killed. Some years after, an American base was built nearby, and it was named Mike Spann. Now that camp has been handed over to the Afghans.
It's an interesting part of the history of this post that it's named after the first American casualty. And so it gives a little bit more, I think, significance to the closing ceremony that we have and to us leaving out of here tomorrow. That the post that was named after the first American casualty in Afghanistan is finally closing down.
All right, folks, and we are so honored to have with us Johnny Spann, the father of Johnny Mike Spann, who you just heard about. And Johnny, welcome, sir. Thank you for taking the time to be with us.
You're welcome. Appreciate the call.
I'm sorry?
I appreciate the call.
No, it's our pleasure and it's our honor, as I meant the very heartfelt when I said it. You, I know, are not pleased with what has taken place regarding the release and the trade for prisoners, if you will, and the release of Sergeant Bergdahl. And you have a very special reason. You believe that at least 2 of the Taliban members who are now free were directly or at least responsible for the death of your son, correct?
Yes, sir. Let me explain. 2 of those men that were released were inside Kalijangi when my son died. The prisoners that were inside there had the night before colluded to have a uprising, and them, especially them being commanders as they were, and the stature they had with the Taliban, I have no reason to believe that they weren't even some of the leaders. I don't know for sure who put the bullet holes in Mike's head and who beat him, and who actually caused his death, as far as putting a finger to each one of them. But I stand by my saying that I've always said. My thoughts were that if anybody that's in a situation like that, you had a choice to make. You either went along with it or you got out there. And we have proof. One of the prisoners that was left behind in Sheboygan prison because he was too injured too badly to be taken to Guantanamo. And he told in his statement that the night before the uprising started that they all had to make a conscious decision as to how much they were going to be involved in the uprising the next day. And so I know it was planned. It was a planned event the night before inside the basement house. And as far as I'm concerned, the way I look at it is everybody that was inside that prison that participated in that has blood on their hands, and they were, in fact, one of Mike's murderers.
Right, the blood of your son on their hands, correct?
That's right.
So when you heard of this deal, I guess as we all did on Saturday afternoon or evening, or what did you think? What was going through your mind? How'd you react?
I was surprised. I couldn't believe it. Sort of disbelief and disappointment, I guess, are 2 words I could use. I was disappointed that our government would do that. And let me make another statement here, just
sure.
Sort of disclaimer. I don't have inside information, that I'm surely there's information that has not been given to us that would cause the administration to make a decision like this. I sure hope there is, because if there's not, and they made this decision based on just the facts that we know, everyday citizens, just like me and you and everybody else, if this is all the information that they had to make the decision, they did a very poor job. A 1 for 5, and especially the 5 that they traded for one person was high-value Taliban targets for us. And the fact that we're being told that, well, it's the end of the war, so we're trading prisoners. I hope that the majority of the people don't think that this is the end of the war. This is not the end of the war. We've been told this for 13 years, that this war was never going to end. There's not a country that we're fighting. It's a group of people that's scattered all over the world now. We had our chance to stop Al-Qaeda years ago, and American people, along the administration for us, turned the other cheek. We turned our other cheek to them all in the 90s when they bombed the USS Cole, when they did the Cobalt Towers, when they tried to bomb the World Trade Center. This was all Al-Qaeda terrorist movements.
Yeah,
we went to Afghanistan. The only reason we were in Afghanistan fighting the Taliban was because they harbored Al-Qaeda.
Right.
And we gave them the ultimatum. President Bush did.
Right, hand over Osama bin Laden or we're coming to get you.
Yeah, and we did. And so it is what it is. We're in war, and it's not just in Afghanistan. And if we think this is the end of the war, we're being misled. And I just don't think the majority of the American people believe that. So we're not swapping prisoners because it's the end of the war. There's got to be something else. There's got to be something that we don't know, surely. Because if we didn't, if there's something that we don't know, if we know everything that there is to know,
Right.
I guess is what I should say, then this is a very poor decision made on the part of our administration.
Yeah, I don't know what else could be at play here. Do you believe that this could be an attempt to clean out Guantanamo Bay? As, by the way, the father of Sergeant Bergdahl has allegedly tweeted out and then erased that the goal is to free every Gitmo prisoner. Do you believe that this is the president's way, since the Congress won't do it, that he's going to empty it out his own way?
You know, I guess that's a possibility. I don't want to be quoted as saying, oh, this is what he's doing and this is what he's not doing, because I don't know. I can only guess, like everyone that's out there listening to us today. We've only got our opinion because we're not entitled to being on the secret committee hearings and all those kind of things. But, you know, I'm looking at a piece of paper here that was just printed off the internet that one of my people that work for me here handed to me. And it's got a picture of the people that's been freed, and it said, freed Taliban commanders tell relatives
they're going to strike America again. Yeah.
You'll fight Americans again.
Yep.
I mean, there's nothing in. I just can't understand why they would tell us something so silly and so stupid. It's like we're Americans, but yet we can't think for ourselves, and we're sort of like we can be told anything and we're supposed to believe it.
What did you think when Susan Rice, and she doubled down on it again today, when she came out on Sunday and said that Sergeant Bergdahl served this country with honor? Well,
that's something else that I'm going to say, and I've said in all the interviews that I've done so far, that, you know, I'm not going to place judgment on him. There's a military investigation going on, and I'm sure they'll be able to tell us in a short time what they think, if he did desert or if he didn't desert or whatever. From everything that I'm seeing on TV and from listening to the people that was in his squad and in his platoon, the things that they're telling us, it really doesn't leave much doubt in what we think right now. It looks to me like that all the cards are saying that, you know, that he did. But there again, you know, a lot of times we don't have all the facts yet. And so I'm going to reserve my judgment as far as saying that he did desert. But I don't know for sure yet. It looks like he did. I hope he didn't, but it looks like he did.
We have a minute left, Johnny, to talk about your son. What would you want us who never met him to know about him?
Well, you know, Mike, he died in honor, but he also lived every day in honor. He died a hero, but he was a hero every day by the way he carried out his life and the things he did and the way he treated other people. And I remember when, just before Mike went to Afghanistan, and an email that he had sent out to several of the family members. And in that email, he said that we need to all remember and understand that there's people in other parts of the world that hate us. And they hate us because we're Americans. And they're going to try to kill us, and they're going to kill us. And if we don't want to continue to be a superpower and do what we have to do to continue to be a superpower, that there's other countries that will step up in our place and they'll be the superpower.
Yeah,
and we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that to happen. He also said that, you know, there's in war, people's going to die. And in that same statement, he said there's going to be bodies coming home. And when bodies come home, just remember to stay true to your country and support your country.
Johnny, we're out of time. I wish we all could have known him, but you did a great job representing him here. Thank you so much, sir, and God bless you.
You're welcome.
All right, folks, we're coming back.